First and foremost, I think we're a big family in the NHL, and our thoughts and prayers should go to Jordan Stahl's family. Obviously, it's been a hectic last few weeks for all of us. One thing is today we didn't make many changes, but we are very comfortable with this hockey team. We're very excited about the future of this hockey team. In the last few days, we had to get rid of a quality centerman to acquire who we think will be a goalie of the future for our organization, someone who performed very well at the World Junior, and Philip Gustafsson. Obviously, when you trade quality assets away, you're going to get really good future pieces, and that's what we've been able to do over the past few days. Obviously, today we traded Drew Shore for a pick. We traded Ian Cole for a pick. Obviously, those players will have a chance to play playoff hockey, and we wish them the best. Or it's Nick Shore. Sorry, I apologize. We drafted his brother a long time ago. So the one thing is that, obviously this year we thought we'd be a playoff team. We thought we'd be a team that could make noise in the playoffs. And now we're in 29th place. And when that comes, there are tough decisions that have to be made. I think everything has to be reviewed. I think I fielded calls on every single player on our roster over the last few months or so, and I think we have to do it as an organization to listen to every offer on every player. The one thing about this team is I'm very excited about the future of this organization. Compared to maybe where we were a few years ago when we were at the bottom of the league, we have some special players coming. We've seen Thomas Chabot play for us, and I think he's on the cusp of being a superstar. We have players like Logan Brown, Drake Bratherson, that played in the World Junior. We have Colin White in Belleville. So we have some really good top-end prospects that we know are coming. And that excites me, but at the same time, I think there are still could be changes to come from now to September. We have to remold our roster. It's very important. Our goal here is to have a team like we had earlier in this franchise, where we knew every year when the puck dropped, the first game of the year, that we were going to be a perennial playoff team. And we're all not one to say that one year we make the playoffs, the other year we don't make the playoffs, and that's the goal that we're going towards.
Question, just let us know. Mic's on both sides. Pierre, how serious were the talks with Erik Karlsson and about him being traded away?
Well, we're not going to hide the fact that Erik Karlsson's a special player. He's our franchise player. Obviously, when I made it clear earlier in the year that we weren't very happy, multiple teams phoned about Erik. If a player of Erik Karlsson's caliber was on the market, I'd be phoning, and I'd probably be phoning every day that opposing GM. And, multiple teams phoned, but Erik's a franchise player. And we felt there was no franchise deal out there that could satisfy us to make the best hockey deal.
With him being on the market, does that affect your ability to re-sign him next summer? Does that affect the relationship you have with him?
No, Erik and I have a great relationship. I've known Erik since he was 159 pounds when we drafted him. Erik and I had a good meeting this morning in my office. We talk a lot. He's the captain of our hockey team. He loves being in Ottawa. I think Erik wants to be a Senator for life. I don't want to speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself. We'll see what the next few months bring. But if Erik Karlsson is here on July 1st, we will be making him a contract offer.
Sylvain Saint-Laurent-Ledroit, does this mean that a trade is still likely or could still happen involving him at some point down the road?
Well, we always have to look at our roster. We're in 29th place. Do we feel we have a team that's of a 29th place caliber? Probably not. But in every situation when we're evaluating ourselves, we have to listen on every offer for teams. We did not actively shop Erik Karlsson. We did not. But when a player of his caliber is is rumored to be on the market or when a team is struggling like ourselves, teams are going to inquire about him. And, you know, we have to listen. We have to do what's best for this organization in short, medium, and long term. And I don't think we would be doing our job if we wouldn't be at least listening on offers.
Pierre,
Hi, Bruce.
Did the market kind of take off when his name got out there? Is that when you started getting more calls on him in the last week or so? Because you'd always insisted up to that point that you weren't going to move him.
No, well, it would take a special hockey deal to move Erik Karlsson. Yeah. And today we didn't feel that that was something, or in the last week, something that wasn't on the table. You know, I always listen. I had offers on Erik Karlsson no one knew about over the course of the summer. So the fact that there were maybe more teams that phone me, but teams phone on players all the time. So to me, it wasn't about the market got more excited in the past week, but just because teams could have 2 playoffs run with him would make it more appealing to them.
And without name, there were other names mentioned. Were there just no deals that satisfied you today other than...
No, the only direction I got from my boss, Mr. Melnick, is make the best hockey deals for the Ottawa Senators. And today, I didn't feel that there were good enough hockey deals for this organization.
Alexandre Tournier de RDS. Pierre, qu'est-ce qui a fait en sorte que vous rendiez disponible un gars de la trempe d'Erik Karlsson et à quel point il est passé proche de changer de club aujourd'hui?
Quand un gars de la trempe d'Erik Karlsson est disponible, plusieurs équipes vont appeler. Ça ne veut pas dire qu'on a besoin de répondre à nos demandes pour faire un échange de cette magnitude. C'est un joueur de franchise, donc ça doit être un échange qui va encombrer cette magnitude.
Vous avez fait une transaction avec Faneuf, avec Brassard. Quel est votre message pour les partisans qui voient ça peut-être pas comme une vente de feu, mais comme une reconstruction?
Mon message pour nos partisans, c'est que cette année, on est en 29e place. Il fallait qu'on fasse des changements. Puis, il y a certains changements qui sont plus difficiles, mais pour avoir des bons morceaux pour le futur, il faut donner certains joueurs. C'est ça qu'on a fait. On sait qu'on a un excellent gardien pour le futur, en Philippe Gustafsson, qui était le meilleur gardien au championnat du junior mondial, qui a une très bonne saison à Luleå. Mais ici, il y a certaines décisions difficiles à prendre, mais pour le meilleur de l'organisation, on sait que c'est ça qu'on a fait. Yes.
The remainder of this season is about what for you to get, you know, is it development or?
Well, it's a combination of both. The first thing, Ken, is I don't think this team has quit. I think there might have been one game in the last while I don't think the team was ready. But for the most part, I haven't seen any players quit. So that's the first thing. We don't want to develop any bad habits. We don't want any cheating. At the same time, we want to still play within our system, still play within our structure. When it comes to development, it depends on the situation. What we did in moving and Johnny being picked up by the Flyers today, and with the trading of Dion Phaneuf, it gives a chance for guys like Ben Harper and Thomas Chabot to take on bigger minutes. A guy like Harper is in his 3rd year pro, so he should be able to do that. A guy like Thomas Chabot is, I think, on the cusp of being a superstar. So those guys play more minutes. They can develop. They're more ready to do it at this level.
Follow-up, I guess, would be like people always talk about Colin White.
Yeah.
Is he a guy that might be up and down here depending on circumstance?
Well, with the trading of Shore and Cole and Uduya, we've called up Jimmy O'Brien and Eric Bergdorfer, and it's about reward. This year, their most consistent center in Belleville has been Jimmy O'Brien. That's why we signed him to a contract. Bergdorfer, of the defensemen that were remaining, has been the most solid, the most consistent guy. And at the same time, we have to think about Colin White's development. It's his 1st year pro. Is he more beneficial here playing 10 minutes, or is it more beneficial for him to play 20 minutes in Belleville, where he's playing both on the power play, on the penalty killing, and touching the puck more than he would at this level, for him to be the best player he can be next year? Now, every player in Belleville thinks they can play for the Ottawa Senators, and most of them could. How will their contribution be? What will be the best long-term plan for any of the prospects? And for us, we just feel right now that we gave Colin a taste of the NHL, but for him to be the best player he can be for us next year or in following years is probably to stay in Belleville for this short time.
Hi, Pierre. Sorry, can you just clarify exactly or expand on what you think a good hockey deal would have been for Karlsson? What were you looking specifically for?
Many pieces. That's as much as I'm going to tell you. I think when it comes to something like that, it gets to be very complicated. But when you're going to trade away a generational defenseman, I think you're going to make sure that your return can be very good. I live in Ottawa. I was raised in Ottawa. I want to stay in Ottawa my life. Even though I had a nail in my tire the other day, I don't think it was because of Erik Karlsson that the potential trade. But at the same time, it would have to be a significant hockey deal.
Michael Alancette, TVA Sport. Pierre, quand on négocie, quand on écoute les offres pour un joueur comme Erik Karlsson, on le vit comment comme directeur général? C'était quoi votre état d'esprit?
J'ai écouté. J'ai écouté toutes les offres qui sont venues de notre côté. On a parlé avec notre groupe de dépisteurs, avec mon groupe, mon assistant gérant et les gens autour de moi. Et on discutait toutes les offres qui venaient. Il y a eu des offres qui ont été insultantes pour un joueur de ce calibre-là. Mais en même temps, quand il y avait quelque chose qu'on pouvait discuter, on en discutait, mais on n'a rien eu qu'on pense qui est à la valeur d'Erik Karlsson.
Oh. Oui, Sylvain Saint-Laurent. Pierre, quand tu es rentré de ta rencontre avec ton patron, tu as dit que tu avais un plan en tête pour relancer l'équipe. Compte tenu que tu dis là, que les joueurs n'ont pas abandonné dans les dernières semaines, derniers mois, à quel point est-ce que tu aimerais continuer avec un grand nombre de ces joueurs-là l'année prochaine?
Oh, c'est sûr que j'aimerais ça gagner avec de rester avec un de ces grands nombres-là. Mais l'équipe qu'on a en ce moment, ça ne va pas être l'équipe qu'on va commencer avec l'année prochaine. Ça, on ne va pas se le cacher. Il va y avoir d'autres changements qui vont venir, d'autres changements pour le mieux. Notre but, c'est d'avoir une équipe qui va faire les séries à long terme. Puis, entre ici et le début de la saison, il va y avoir des décisions difficiles à faire, mais je suis sûr que ça ne va pas être aussi pire que ça a été cette année.
Dans ce cas-là, ça va être quoi l'identité, si tu peux résumer ça, de tes sénateurs une fois que tout ça va être terminé?
J'aimerais ça avoir une équipe excitante, gourmande, affamée. C'est les caractéristiques qu'on recherche.
Pierre, you said you just spoke with Erik this morning. So is there any hard feelings from him with his name being mentioned?
No.
And is there any kind of fracture between the relationship between Karlsson and the organization?
No. No. I'm told about a lot of stuff that is pure, totally nonsense. It's almost to a point of stupidity. And I shouldn't even comment on it. Erik and I have a great relationship. I can tell you when I spoke to the team, you could hear pin drops in the dressing room. There's a lot of nonsense out there. And what's so unfortunate is that people put any type of stock in those stupid comments. There's no division. Erik and I had a great meeting this morning. Erik and I have had good meetings through the course of the year with the team struggling. Erik and I had good meetings when the team was going well last year in the playoffs. There's no division. Let's face it, Erik married a girl from Ottawa. His first child will be born in Ottawa. We want to make sure that Erik can be here as long as we can. But at the same time, when we're in 29th place, you have a duty to listen to everything. And I think it would not be a smart thing not to listen to offers.
Murray Pam, Sporting News. You placed Alex Burrows on waivers yesterday. What is the plan for him moving forward?
He's here. No one picked him up. He's a high-character veteran. That's the reason we got him last year. Alex has to be better. He knows it. He was told. Maybe a bit of a wake-up call. I got a lot of time today. I've only been here since 6:30, so.
Ouais, Pierre, parler de l'échange de Erik Karlsson un peu plus.
Oui.
Comment est-ce que c'est venu sur le tapis? Est-ce que c'est vraiment le gardien que vous avez allé chercher Gustafsson? C'est vraiment le gars que vous avez ciblé comme gardien d'avenir que ça vous prenait?
Oui. Pour nous, c'était le gardien. C'était le gardien qu'on ciblait pour le futur. C'est le meilleur gardien que j'ai vu dans le junior. Quand j'étais en Suède, il y a quelques semaines, il a joué pour Luleå, l'équipe de la Ligue élite suédoise. Puis il est le gardien numéro 1 là. Il a eu une excellente deuxième moitié de saison. Donc, c'est quelqu'un qu'on a vraiment ciblé. Puis quelqu'un qui va, je peux répéter en anglais par la suite, c'est quelqu'un qui, à la fin de sa saison, s'en va à Belleville et va jouer à Belleville l'année prochaine pour commencer sa carrière professionnelle en Amérique du Nord. Mark asked about the Brassard trade. And Philip Gustafsson was really someone we were targeting. To acquire a goalie of that caliber meant we had to give up a good player in Erik Brassard, but on top of that, getting the first-round pick and getting Ian Cole and flipping him for a third-rounder is something that we feel is beneficial for the organization. But Philip Gustafsson is someone we really targeted, someone that, you know, after I saw him at the World Junior, I was telling our scouts, well, that's the best junior goalie I've ever seen in a while. And then I had the chance to see him play for Luleå when I went to Sweden a few weeks ago, and he's playing on the men's team. He's had a great second half. At the end of this year, he's already signed to a contract. At the end of his season in Luleå, he's going to come over to Belleville. Hopefully, Luleå plays for a long time. And from there, he'll start his pro career in Belleville next year, unless he surprises everyone and knocks one of the two guys out of the box here.
A number of players talked about their surprise at hearing Erik's name mentioned and, you know, the talk ramping up in the days leading up to today. How do you sort of deal now with them of feeling if you're willing to maybe consider offers on your captain and a generational player like Erik Karlsson, what's the message to the rest of the group?
Well, I hope they got the message. If we're willing to trade a generational player, that means we're not very happy about a lot of their performances this year.
But do you worry about then what that says about you guys as an organization?
No, I think it says we want to be winners. I don't think you heard many big names on the trade market after we went to the conference final last year. This year we're in 29th place. I don't think it's acceptable. The players know that I don't think it's acceptable.